Okay, joined by Houston head coach Todd Whitting. Coach, if we just get your thoughts following the game, and then we'll open up to questions, please.
Well, it's disappointing. I really wanted that for those kids. I mean, you guys have been following them. I mean, it's an unbelievable group of players and staff, coming off a tough year last year, just the unbelievable commitment to the program, to the University of Houston, and to what we were trying to do was, all the way, they fought all the way to the last pitch. And, Ryan Hernandez, Santiago Garcia, my two seniors, I'm glad to see them make the all-tournament team. But it's disappointing because that's one of those teams where you think it's going to work out for them, just the magic we had here the last week that we've had throughout the season. But, we got a couple of holes to fill going next year. I feel good about it. We start 3 freshmen every day. We got a ton of guys coming back. So the future's bright at the University of Houston.
Okay, we'll go to questions. Please use the raise hand feature in the Zoom, and we'll take the questions in order. We'll start with Matt Musil, please.
Hey, Todd, congratulations. I'm not making any excuses, but after that marathon of a day yesterday, were the guys gassed a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, people come through the losers bracket and play multiple games sometimes, but I could feel it this morning. They were tired. It was, a noon start was going to be rough on us. We tried to take it easy on them before the game and kind of get them going, but you saw in our bats. I mean, the bats were a little bit slow all day long. I thought pitching wise, give the 2 big innings, but I was proud to see some of those kids come in and pitch pretty well, but you could just tell with our bat speed was not what it's been the last couple of days. And 20 innings, in that heat yesterday was pretty tough on us.
You still believe 37 wins will get you in the NCAA field, right?
No, I don't think so. I think our RPI where it is right now. I mean, 37 would in certain years, but I don't maybe bubble-ish, but I don't think there's been some upsets around the country in tournaments that kind of stolen some bids. So I think, for this year, it's not going to happen for us.
Okay, take the next one from Mark Berman, please.
Hey, Todd, 2 questions. One, could you take us through the double steal attempt and what your effort was there, what you were trying to accomplish, obviously, and also what did you tell your kids afterwards?
Well, the double steal, I thought it was a great call, and we should have had a run out of that thing. I thought, it was reviewed and they made their decision, but I thought we were safe at the plate, and I thought we also had an obstruction call, which the main thing I thought. The safe route, I couldn't really tell, till later, but the obstruction call I thought was pretty textbook. But those guys they're the ones looking at it, not me. So, you got to go 3-1 right there, and we're still at home plate fighting. It could have been a different ball game. You never know. But after I just told them I was proud of them. This is still one of my favorite teams I've ever had. We've had lots of teams win championships, host regionals, and playing in the postseason. But I don't know of a group that, just being around them all the time, going to practice with them. Those kind of things was really good. And it's, this year, for the first time, I've never had captains before. And I had a crew, what I call my boat captains, and I split the team into 4 different boats, 2 guys per boat. And, they did a phenomenal job of leading this program this year. It was great, for me to be able to talk to those guys. We'd meet once a week, go over the program, what I was seeing, what they're seeing. It just helps you get on the same page with those guys a little bit. And I think, that's something that really helped our program this year is putting the leadership on the team instead of it just being on me. And I really appreciate what those guys did. Ian McMillan was what we called the admiral of the boats. And of all the boat captains, he was the unanimous admiral. And, he was the final decision maker on a lot of stuff with great feedback from his teammates on that committee, on that crew.
Okay, go to Joseph Duarte, please, for the next one.
If I could follow up on that, why go with that format? Is it just, like you said, sort of to put more of the power on the players, or more of the involvement?
I think so. I think it just helps accountability of the team, the expectation levels of the team, instead of me trying to get my message to 35, 40 guys all at the same time. It's me and those 8 guys, that are doing it, sitting down once a week, for 30, 40 minutes, having lunch and talking about the program. And, they did a great job of holding the team accountable. I mean, team violations, things like that. They handled all that stuff, and they were able to go to their teammates, and I feel like it just kept our unit very cohesive. Even went through the little streak there at the end, you could tell nobody was quitting. And what that does, it just gets you playing for each other. And I thought that's what they did a great job of, creating an amazing culture on our ball club.
Big picture, Todd, when you look at what y'all accomplished and bouncing back from last year, you feel like the program going in the right direction? I mean, how important was it, I guess, to have this type of bounce back coming off the year that y'all had?
Well, I think it was really, I think, you're talking about a program I think is in great shape. There's a lot of excitement. There's, last year, to me, the last 2 years, I literally threw them out the window. There's some circumstances that have gone on in our program that have been kind of out of our control a little bit. And, have strong leadership at Houston. They understand that. We've talked about that quite a bit. And, I think we're better or close to where we should be. And, a couple of games go different. Our RPI is a little bit higher. This one, goes a little bit different. We're going to the selection show tomorrow. So I think it's, this was a good year for us going forward. I feel really good about things, and that's mainly because of the players. It's you can feel the good vibe in the dugout, and that's what you look for. You look for, I thought this year, I think we had maybe our highest attendance that we've had. The ballpark was full all season. There's a ton of excitement around the program, especially when we got it rolling there during the season at the first little bit. And these kids are fun to watch, and when you put on a good show and you're never out of a ball game, people want to come see that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Go to James Miller for the next one, please.
Yeah, Todd, you touched on it a little with the player leadership, but tonight for a guy like Ryan Hernandez, his last game with the program, can you just reflect on sort of the impact he's made and sort of the legacy he'll leave from his time here at UH?
Well, he'll go down as one of the greatest players here of all time. I tell you that. I mean, you talk about a guy that was clutch at the end, and he had a decision to make whether he wanted to come back to Houston or not. And he, coming off a tough year, he made the decision. He was committed to the program and wanted to come back. And you can say the same thing about Jacob Deese and a couple other ones too. That's when you've got something special or something brewing, is when kids could easily go into pro ball for X amount of dollars, and those guys decide to come back and they wanted to play at Houston again. And they want to turn things around. I will forever be grateful to Hernandez and Deese and some of those other kids, for trusting the program and trusting me, to come back and play another year.
Other from Joseph?
I'm good, Chuck. I'm sorry I didn't lower my hand.
Okay. All right. Any final questions then for Coach? Coach Whitting, thanks for your time, not only today, but all week. Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, we're going to bring in Ryan Hernandez here in just a moment. Okay, we do have Ryan Hernandez here from Houston. So again, just use the raise hand feature. We'll go right to questions. We'll start with James Miller, please.
Yeah, Ryan, I know obviously this isn't the outcome y'all wanted, but just overall, the turnaround y'all showed this year, just the fight to even get to this. What can you say about, this team and just overall in your last year at Houston?
I mean, what I'm going to say is that I'm very proud of this team. I mean, we've been through some up and downs throughout the year. We didn't play our best in some instances, but we never gave up, and our practices were very effective, and we worked really hard all year. And that's something that, I won't forget about, because this team, if anything went wrong, we did everything possible to work on it the next day at practice. So that's something that will live with me forever. And I'm just really proud to be a Cougar and be part of this team specifically, because it's just a relentless team. So.
And Coach Whitting talked on how this year's team, the player leadership was like huge. Did you sense that this year? Was this sort of a new territory in terms of, that player-led team?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that had a big part in our success this year. Like he said, when things weren't going well, or if things, if we had a certain topic to talk about, we talk about it as a group. We talk about it as a family, essentially, and get everyone's opinion before we come up with any conclusion. So it was a very easy way to communicate with one another, and I definitely think that it is, one of the top 3 reasons why we're put in such a good position at the end of the year. So I think the ability to communicate with one another, and the ability to communicate fluidly with with coach and all that made it really easy to become closer as a unit.
Go to Mark Berman for the next one, please.
Ryan, did you hear what Todd said about you a while ago? And if so, what did that mean to you, that high praise?
No, definitely. I definitely appreciate him, very much. And I love being a Houston Cougar. When I first committed here, I committed as soon as, I got the opportunity to commit here. And he, coach has done a great job with me. He's done so much for me and my family. And he brought me in, a kid from Boston to come play at a university, where I've always dreamed of playing down south. So uh, I just, I'm just very proud to be a Houston Cougar and kind of be a depiction of what it means to be a Houston Cougar. I mean, when it comes down to it, I wouldn't have wanted to go out any other way. You know what I mean? And especially with this team, because they, like I've been saying, man, they're just relentless. And that's kind of, they have tons of energy. And that's kind of, if you know me personally, like that's how I am. And I have tons of energy. I try to work as hard as I can. And I think when you have a team that does that on a daily basis, it makes every day much easier, for you as a senior, and it makes you really proud to see, what's going on every day.
What are your thoughts about the future of this program as it sits right now?
Oh man, I definitely think that we're like, it's going to be the real deal in the next year or two. I promise you that. Like, there's no doubt about that. Coaches are doing a fantastic job recruiting, bringing in new guys, even developing the guys that we have now. There's some guys who we didn't think that, may have not as shined as much in the beginning, but over the course of the year, throughout their hard work, we're able to develop that confidence and that swagger that we play with. And it comes to show at the end of the year. And I'm just really excited to see, what the Houston Cougars bring to next year and upcoming years, because I can't wait to come to games.
We'll take the next one from Matt Musil, please.
Hey, Ryan, before the weekend, Todd was optimistic. He said, if we make it to the championship game, we'll probably make the NCAA field.
Mhm.
I was just asking about that. He said, well, probably not. There's been some upsets, and 37 wins probably won't get it this year. I know that's disappointing, but what are your thoughts on that? You guys had so many positive things happen to you this year.
Yeah. I mean, our motto was to take things, one day at a time, one game at a time. And sometimes, in the game of baseball, things don't go necessarily your way, and it's not supposed to. You're playing a game of failure. And when it comes down to it, this team, it's done everything, it could do. We've put in effort, we've put in work, we've put in every day in and out. There's not something that, we could have worked on that we haven't worked on, essentially. But it's just, the game of baseball is not it's not supposed to go your way all the time. That's why if you bat 300 for a very long time, you're very well known for being a good hitter. You know what I mean? And that's a 70% failure rate. But when it comes down to it, we could have made a play here and there. But that's all part of the game. That's what makes baseball so crazy, and that's why a lot of people play in the big leagues, because they don't make those mistakes, and you only learn from the little things. But I'm just like I was saying, I'm just really proud of this team, and I'm just happy that I got an opportunity to come back, and I don't regret my decision at all. It's been one of the best decisions I ever made.
Thank you. Congratulations on your season.
Thank you.
Take the last one from James, please.
Yeah, Ryan, you've talked a lot about just, reflecting on your career overall at Houston. Is there like a particular moment or something that, 10, 15 years down the line that will stand out to you about, just that sort of defines your time at Houston, memory, time with teammates, something like that?
I mean, I think this whole year realistically is going to be remembered. We had so many great moments, whether it be celebrating on the bus after a rivalry win, whether it be winning the Silver Glove or just things that happen, so often. But I definitely think that something that will always go with me is just like probably my first game here at Houston, where, I had the biggest nerves because I was a new guy and I don't know. You just can't forget your first and last games here as a Houston Cougar, but all the things in between, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. And there's too many memories to forget, but I've had a great time here and I'm really appreciative of that.
Ryan, thanks for giving us a few minutes today. Appreciate it. Congratulations. It's a great tournament.
Thank you.
And again, as was mentioned, Ryan was one of 4 Houston players on the all-tournament team. He joins pitcher Jose Torrealba, catcher Anthony Tulomero, and then designated hitter Santiago Garcia as Houston's representatives on the all-tournament team.
Is this on?
It's on, yes, yeah, you're good. We are joined now by most outstanding player, Jacob Jenkins-Cowart from East Carolina. Again, use the raise hand feature. We'll go to questions, please. Start with Stephen, please.
Jacob, you guys came in with a mission to do something no ECU team has done before, win both the regular season and tournament. What does it feel like to accomplish that goal?
I mean, we knew what we had to do to win every game. We knew nothing was going to be easy. Like, even when we were up, you saw Houston, they pulled some guys out of the pen that were shutting us down. So we knew everything was going to be tough, and we just had to keep scratching and do anything we could to win.
Other questions? I'll go to Eric Ellison, please.
Really cranked up the play yesterday, today, big home runs, that crazy catch out there in the gap with the Gronk spike. I mean, just tell us a little bit about your play this weekend and just how good it feels to contribute that way for the team.
I mean, I knew coming in that we're going to need a lot of offense to win, but turns out our pitching was spectacular this weekend, just like they've been for, the second half of the year. But really, I was just doing as much as possible to give us the best chance to win, just doing my job, not trying to do too much.
Steven, another one?
Jacob, your coaches and teammates, they say, you're not really big on individual rewards, accomplishments, but did you have a chip on your shoulder at all for not being named all conference with the season you've had?
It was actually kind of funny when I saw all that stuff on Twitter before the tournament started, and I was like 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts the first game. I thought that was kind of ironic, but no, it doesn't really bother me. I'd rather go 0 for 4 and us win than me have 5 home runs and us lose. So just really doing anything we can to win.
Any other questions for Jacob? Jacob, congratulations. Thanks for giving us a few minutes.
Thank you.
Let your guard down. Obviously, Houston had to play, I think, 19 innings yesterday, which I thought they were probably a little bit gassed. Even thought we were a little bit gassed once we got out front. But Mayhew was good. Our defense was great. We're able to get out to an early lead with Zach singled. Bryson had a tough walk, and then JC and hit a 3-run homer. Josh Rose was outstanding. I mean, to just be able to hold them right there, and then we were able to add a few more. I don't really remember that inning, and then Saylor was outstanding. But just hats off to our players, man. I keep saying it, but what they've accomplished this year, nobody can ever take it away from them. I don't care if we don't win another game. The guys have just poured their heart and soul into putting a really good product on the field because they've just kept showing up and they love one another and they don't care who gets the credit. Pretty cool story. I knew JC wasn't all conference a selection, and I told him, I said, look, I don't get to vote for our own players, but you're all conference in my book. But in 2015, Hunter Allen should have been on one of the all conference lists, and then he got tournament MVP. So I get chill bumps because JC was named tournament MVP, and we got a lot of MVPs on our team that have just done a really good job.
Okay, we'll start with questions. We'll go to Stephen, please, for the first one.
Coach, getting on top of them early, just, how much of a tone setter is that in a game like this, especially with them coming off having played for so long on Saturday?
Well, it definitely helps. I mean, I thought that we kind of suffocated him on the mound early. Maybe he was really good in the first inning. I didn't think he was sharp in the second inning, but that double play that Ben threw out the guy and then Zach threw out the guy trying to score, thought that was a huge momentum swing. We were able to add on, and then Groves just suffocated him with really good stuff. We played really good defense behind him. We did give up 1 run, but it was a chopper up the middle, and then Saylor was outstanding as well. We just didn't give him any freebies on the mound, so they were having to hit for everything they got, and our pitching was just really good today.
We'll go to Eric for the next one, please.
Coach, you said yesterday that you guys have never done this before, a regular season title and a tournament title. You know, how, and you've talked in length about just how special this group is. How special is it to do that with this group?
Really special. I keep going back to the average person, the average team would have quit when you're 14 and 13, and the expectations that East Carolina baseball has and the adversity that those guys have been through. But I told them they were going to be tough as leather at the end of the season if they just kept their head above water. And we played a lot of road games. We had the adversity, some publicly, some not publicly. And the guys just kept showing up. And I know I'm keep repeating myself, but that's what life is. And regardless, I hope they take that memory with them the rest of their lives. But this group deserves to have the regular season championship and the conference tournament championship.
Another one from Steven.
Coach, if the projections end up being accurate, you guys might host another regional next weekend. Just your thoughts on, do you feel like you guys deserve to host after 18 straight wins? And how do you feel about the resume at this point?
I felt like we deserved to host after a couple wins in the conference tournament. You know, guys, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many wins you got to win in a row, but you know, our conference is tough. Our non-conference schedule is 7th in the country, and I know whatever the metrics are against the top 50, but we played a lot of those top 50 teams early in the season when we were scuffling. But our guys are really good. Our fans deserve it. Our university deserves it. I don't need to lobby for it. The body of work speaks for itself. So I would be really, really disappointed if the committee didn't allow us to host NCAA regional next weekend.
Another one from Eric.
Coach, I saw online that this is your 300th win. Is that true? If so, how does that feel to do it in this game?
That's what Malcolm told me. I guess Malcolm's my fact guy. So fact guy and stat guy. It's look, great coaches are made by great players and great coaching staffs. And that's what this program has been built on, is our culture. And Coach LeClaire will be proud. Our fans are proud. It's a gritty bunch. It's not about me. It's about this program and what we stand for. And that's the most important thing for me.
The next one from Bubba Rosenbaum, please.
Coach, last year you obviously had guys such as, Cam Colmore, Matt Bridges, and others who had been in the program quite some time. This year, even though he had not pitched in 6 weeks prior to yesterday, Jake Kuchmaner, and then also guys like Bryson Worrell, Ben Newton, who you've referred to numerous times as the glue. Just talk about the leadership you've received from those guys.
When we weren't playing well, I would meet with a few guys, and Bryson would be one of them. Ben Newton would be one of them. Mayhew, Agnos, Ryder, several other guys as well. About 12 guys. And I just would go, hey, look, we can do this. And they would tell me, and it would not be coach speak. It would be like, Coach, the locker room's good. We're good. We still believe. I know that we're not playing great baseball, but we still believe. And the leadership has led the rest of the guys. And that's why we are where we are today.
We'll take the last one from Al Maya, please.
Cliff, congratulations. And Jake threw some yesterday. And moving forward, does it look like he's good to pitch some more for you?
Al, he told me he had an inning today, which I really did not want to have to use him today, but he told me he had an inning today. So I guess that's a positive after throwing 32 pitches or whatever he threw yesterday. I mean, I took him out of the game yesterday because it's his first time out, and I didn't want to overuse him where he wouldn't be available next weekend.
Thank you.
The Pirates are up against some flights here, so we'll let Coach Godwin go after that one. Coach, congratulations again. And
Go Pirates.
Thank you for the time this week.
Congratulations on the